morning, friends. The snow is almost all melted here now, so I decided I'd do a little bit of a walk around and talk about what the plans are for 2019. Right here, as you can remember, this is where the herb garden used to be, and right here there's a bed. There was lilies and another type of flower. I don't remember what the other type was. When the ground thaws, I want to take back that cardboard and see if I can get the bulbs out and plant them down by the front fence. These are well established grapevines. I have one there, and then there's one up right there. But I haven't yet gotten to get the best setup for them. They produce grapes every year and they don't ripen. So I'm thinking I gotta cut them back to the ground again. This one has a really big stalk inside, so I might not cut them all the way down. Put up a couple posts and make a wire trellis to train them across. See if I can get some ripe grapes when they grow back. This is going to be wonderful this year. I'll clean this out in the next day or so. And I'm going to put compost in there. I don't need fully finished compost because I'm going to cover it in a uniform covering of cardboard, and the melon vines are going to be planted in there. And I think I'm going to put a couple of peppers in there as well, and I'll plant that through the cardboard so the compost will be covered up. There's the large one, the cabbage that I put in there. With the bugs still being alive inside here, this one seems to be growing back though. There's another one over there that's completely hidden. But there seems to be some growth on it, right there. So they're coming back after the winter, and they will grow up. I'll keep those there and see if I can get them to grow up to get seed from them. There's a dandelion growing in there. I'll soon have some dandelion greens. Along here, of course, you don't see much of a planting area, but that was just because the last thing I put on top of this was meadow clippings. So you've got dry grass that's looking like the rest of the dry grass right now. Around here, this is the California poppy. This is the other type of wildflower that I had. I don't know the name of that yet. I had quite a few of the poppies. But not many of the other type. This is where I plan on trying to grow that lamb's quarter. This is a red maple, the unkillable red maple. And I'm going to plant the lamb's quarter that I have growing in right here. Romeo cherry seems to have survived just fine. Now the wrapping on this smoke bush, as you can see, didn't stay on very well. We'll see how much that has protected it over the winter to get some flowers on it this year. Juliet cherry, she's doing fine. Nothing's growing yet. Seems like some of the buds are about ready to start. This maple tree, I tapped that last year, not this year. And I decided not to tap it 2 years in a row. And I was out there yesterday and I was happy I didn't, because see, there's where I put in one of the taps and I put a plug in. There's a crack in the bark right there. Then I go around to the other one, another crack. Everywhere where I put a tap in, the plug came out of this one, but the bark is cracked. So I have a dead area in the tree around here. So I won't be tapping that one for a couple of years, which means it's going to be a few years before I can tap maples again. The maple tree is, of course, coming back to life though. The buds are swelling up. The other pear tree. The buds look like the buds are starting on the apple tree as well. Now this was another thing I was thinking about. This is a white currant, and most of this stuff you see here is actually sedges and not grasses. This is a wet area that stays wet year round. So I was wondering if I transplanted my other small currant bushes over here, would they do better? Because that one is doing excellent. There's my well. I should say, make a proper well house on that this year. This is going to be another protected area. I had potatoes in here last year, but over this frame I'm going to put plastic, and the Early Canada Improved watermelon I think I'm going to put in here, along with some peppers. So you remember When I cleaned these out in the fall, I had suggested that I was going to put kelp over them. But then I thought about it. They've been attacked by the strawberry root weevil, and I had to make a new strawberry patch anyway. If I left it clear, would the extra cold kill the larvae and the eggs? So I left it just like this, and you will see. Here's my experimental bed. Of course, nothing will be growing there yet, so it's not warm enough. Now, if you remember, there's some coal crops under here. I took this lot of jungle wood off now as well. And there's my 3 kale. We won't have any weather that's going to kill them now, for sure. So I'll have some beautiful kale hopefully coming back. Now, this one that was left out, he doesn't look to be, looks like he'll probably come back as well. We'll see. And then there's another one over there. So that might be very well. Now, underneath this one, this is the green sprouting broccoli. And I guess that's a cauliflower. Let's see if they come back. This is something I definitely have to do. I have to clear this off. This is the rhubarb bed. So I have to hand cover the rhubarb. The cold weather won't kill the rhubarb. It's the reason why I do this mostly is to have a mulch that's adding to the soil over the winter. The soil life will come up and partially decompose this, and then I'll just take the dry stuff off top then. That's the ideal behind that. Now what I was thinking about here is that they've been here for 3 years now, the compost bins. I can take this area now and plant some shallow rooted plants, put down some bed frames and mulch, plant some shallow rooted plants, move the compost bins to another area and have them there for a few years, because the nutrients leaches out into the ground, so you're getting a very nutritious ground, and it's not being used. I could probably move them along back through the edge of the food forest, in which case they'll be feeding these currants. And here, this is another story for another video, but it is haskap. They look something like a blueberry, elongated blueberry. I really don't like this bush, but they said you had to have 2 separate varieties. There's another one here, a really nice bush, but they don't produce. I get some years I get like a handful of berries off this one. And no surprise, this one is starting to grow. But I'll talk about that when I do my perennials video. I'm planning to take those and move them over behind the shed and put the 2 blueberry bushes that I have ordered in place of them. Coops! My hens are very calm, but they're still a little skittish. And they see something that's not quite normal. It used to be that everyone was a prepper. Sean James recently put out a video saying, "Where have the preppers gone?" Well, out in the country, places where I am, you still see some of them because we have to prepare at least for winter. And of course, this is what I've done. I now have, there's 14 here and 15 over in the other patch, 3 by 10 foot beds. Raspberry patches, strawberry patches. I'm collecting medicinal herbs, culinary herbs. This is also another preparation. Habitat piles. This habitat pile is definitely gone now. Composted down too much. I seen a meadow vole in my basement the other day. So these branches you see here, I cut down from behind the hen's house there. I need to go through them because it's too open and it's not giving the voles and shrews enough of a house. Yeah, I know. It's not giving the voles and shrews enough of a house. So the bigger pieces I would cut out using either for firewood or wood working projects. I have some woodworking projects in mind I want to use some of that stuff for, and bring it down to smaller pieces to make a home for the voles so they won't be crawling through my buildings. That, of course, there are some places in Newfoundland you go and everyone has a root cellar. You can store enough food for a family of 4 in there for about 2 years. This is where the branches come from. There are some big trees laying here and dropping branches on the hen house. You can see the branches up there now. And I want to clear it out so that there's no large trees in the hen's pen itself. So that tree I'm pointing at now, right in a row from there, you can see that row of trees. That's going to be the end of the hen's pen. So this one, these 2 here, and this one I'm going to cut down today. I'm also going to cut this one down high and leave it as a fence post. When I was cutting these, I can usually cut a tree and it'll fall exactly where I want it to fall. was cutting down one tree. It was the one right behind that small spruce there. And it was falling the way I wanted it to fall. But then its branches caught in the tree beside it and it spun. And fell right on the ends house. So I have work to do. That's got to be fixed ASAP. I'll be building a pen around here this summer. And follow you around. Like I say, if you put anything out of the ordinary, then they get skittish. Got a lot of cleanup to do, as you can see. Typical for a place to get a lot of snow. I want to mention this. These are golden raspberries. They are an ever-bearing type. So the ones that grows up in the first year, you leave them and you just cut down the old ones. Now I had left it late last year, but as you can see, it's very easy to tell the old ones from the new ones. So I need to go through and just cut down these older ones, leave these new ones up for this year. The next year, all these will be turned to this style, and I'll actually cut them down in the fall and leave the new ones that grew up this year there. I had procrastinated and I was late with the raspberries as well, and I couldn't really tell the difference between the old ones and the new ones in the fall. But it looks like even the regular raspberries now I can tell the difference. So I can cut out the old canes in this as well, maybe before things start growing. Time is one tough evergreen. There's two different versions there. The two across there is French thyme, and then there's garden thyme. That was just a little walk around to show you what the garden looks like around here when it's the snow had just melted. Soon it'll be all green. Things will be growing and it'll look much nicer. Oh yeah, and this is my canoe. I was given this canoe. It was in rough shape. I had to do some fixing up, and right now I doubt I can get it turned up. Oh. So I just had to do through the inside now and put a couple of seats in it, and I'll have a canoe. But as I was saying, the garden will be growing soon, and once again we'll be back to a busy, beautiful garden season. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video. If you haven't subscribed and you'd like to follow me along in the Oreo Force, researching and growing my food security and energy security, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell to be notified of future videos. Thank you once again.